reference manual commentary, where I, Walter Norton of Botluck Productions, look at the different Digimon of the reference manual. We've been slowly going through a lot of the champion Digimon. We've had a lot of weirdness happening every now and then. A lot of news in Digimon recently. We have the Ghost Game stream coming up, although it is currently on BBC. I don't know the particulars of what happened there, but it seems like things are going well with that. At least we still have the Japanese dub available on Crunchyroll for now. Also, we are getting the Beat Break English dub in about 4 days. 4 days. I think the 27th, if I'm correct. Which is wild that we're getting two dubs this back to back. And on January 3rd, I believe, we are getting the season 2 of Digimon Digi-Destiny. So, good year for Digimon. Time Stranger is doing all... Can't hear me. The hell? Don't tell me I have to go... Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Don't tell me I have to go. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. What the? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Renamon 5658. Are you sure? Because going off on my end on both OBS and on just what I'm hearing, I'm hearing it. Are you sure? Because we are using the new microphone. If necessary, I can go use the... Wait. We are live. Welcome. Okay, yeah. What the hell? Hold on, let me test something. Something's... What's going on here? Reference manual commentary, where I'm going through a lot. Okay, that's weird. Okay. Slight technical hiccups. I don't know what happened. But yes, to literally restate, we have a lot going on with Digimon right now. Beat Break is getting its English dub out soon, and we're getting only one of your headphones. Yeah, great. Hold on. No. This is what I don't like about getting new equipment, because then you have to start toying with it, and I don't understand why it's... That's... I don't know what to say. Right now, we only have 2 audio phones. I don't know why it's messing like that. Great, that's fun. That's real fun. So, I have a new microphone. Something's not working right with it. I don't know why. Unfortunately, we may only have to get one audio at the time. I'm not particularly certain why it's acting like this, but we'll see moving forward. I'll experiment with it later. As I was saying, a lot of new things with Digimon moving forward. Beat Break, Ghost Game, Digi-Destiny, a lot of new stuff. So, with that out of the way, perhaps it's best we continue with where we were going with Digi-Destiny. Sorry, with our commentary. I'll deal with the audio later. We're dealing with new audio equipment. So first Digimon. So as many of you know, the way how this works is I comment on the Digimon. I describe the design, read the bio, say what I like about the design, what I dislike about the design, and what I would change with the design. When I go through a Digimon, I can't just be like, oh, it looks like a good Digimon. No, I have to actually give an explanation as to why I like it, why I dislike it. I have to give a reason for my change, and go from there. This is a audience participation, so if you guys want to comment, you are more than welcome to. I do like hearing you guys' input on these things. As for audio, I will experiment with that later because something's going on with that. Do you think Digimon will return to Death Battle anytime soon? Hard to say. The problem with Digimon and Death Battle is Digimon has a lot of power scaling issues, and it can be very hard to go, well, this Digimon is better than this, because you have something like a profile that says, oh, it's Ultra Death, what have you, and then you actually look in the anime and it gets beaten by a rookie. The power scaling is way off that it's a bit difficult to determine how to go at things. That being said, it's possible, but I don't know which Digimon they would use other than the Royal Knights, because most Digimon get a bit weird with their abilities, or if they're one of the main characters. I can see maybe Guilmon and Takato appear, but I think it's best we'll see how things go. So moving forward, we have Garurumon. Wolf-like beast Digimon with the pale silver pelt. Garurumon's fur is said to be as hard as mithril, a legendary rare metal. And the blades that extend from its shoulders are so sharp they can sever anything they touch. With its unique with its physique honed in the frozen tundra and its intense instinct for conflict, Garurumon is feared by other Digimon for its predatory ferocity and agility. However, it is remarkably intelligent, steadfastly loyal to those it acknowledges as its leader. Its special move is Foxfire, by which it breathes out an intense stream of blue flames. Okay, as we know, Kitsune are associated with blue fire. Garurumon is one of the older Digimon that we know out there. He appeared in Adventure, and he was part of the Digimon World game. Things about the design I like. We have a more traditional wolf design going in. A lot of elements of blades, which is indicative of early Digimon. They really went in towards the monster aesthetic. So I like that they went with a very traditional wolf. A lot better than Fangmon. As for what I don't like, not a big fan of the ribbon tail. I think that for a wolf, that's a bit of the wrong direction to go. But this was early Digimon, and this was a fairly common thing in those designs. I also think maybe the snout is a bit too crocodile or alligator-esque, but that's just because of the very weird toothy grin. As for what I would change with the design, I would probably omit the tail and either change that to a more traditional tail or just omit it altogether. I don't think it's a necessary part of the design. But otherwise, I would say I give Garurumon the perfect. It's classic Digimon. It is a classic design. I do like the ice aesthetic towards it. They really lean towards its tundra. It is a bit weird that it comes from Gabumon, but given that Gabumon shares its pelt, it is an interesting connection. Sorry, I'm messing with my equipment. So we'll give it about... Oh, where did I put that timer? I have these little tiny sand timers that I use for role-playing purposes. I'll give it a 10 second. No, that's a 10 minute. We'll give 30 seconds. So how's everyone's Christmas doing? Well, I know it's not Christmas Eve, but we're kind of close. I saw Avatar. Love the design and colors. Yes, it's a very good design. The colors definitely complement. Alright, so we're going to move on to our next Digimon. If I can get to it. Excuse me. Garurumon Black. A virus Garurumon. The blades that extend from its shoulders are so sharp they can sever anything they touch. Garurumon Black loves burying bones in the ground, but the mischievous Dramojimon enjoys moving them in secret. It uses its special move, Foxfire, to breathe a stream of high-temperature blue flames from their mouth. Okay, so it's basically the same design. In this case, we went towards a black and white Digimon. Well, not really a tiger, more of an opposite zebra, whatever. Not really a cow, but you get the idea. White and black. It's a recolor of Garurumon. I don't think the colors work. I mean, I like that it looks evil, but that's about all it has going with it. I don't think the colors work in this design. I think in this situation, they kind of fumbled. If I were to change this, I think I would probably add some, maybe more red. Maybe add, have some of the blades have red on them, similar to, like, say, Shadow the Hedgehog. Probably add more white to the design, because these accent stripes are very limited. This feels like a downgrade compared to Garurumon. Take that as you will. So, what I like about the design, it looks evil. What I don't like about the design, it's a recolor. They didn't really do too much with it. And I think if I were to change it, I would add some elements of red, more red, and increase the white, more stripes in the design. Excuse me, I'm going to check something real quick. Microphone. Terribly sorry about that. Just trying to figure out the microphone real quick. That's not going to help. So we're just going to give that 30 seconds. Okay. Moving on to the next Digimon. I just want to say this might be a short stream depending on how things go. But we're going to try to go through what we can. Garurumon X Antibody. Ew. Wolf-like beast Digimon with pale... Okay, so we've read all that. The effects of X Antibody on Garurumon's Digicore. Garurumon's X Antibody's rare fur has hardened even further in regions of extreme cold, removing any possibility of hardening it through simple means. Its combat instinct has grown even fiercer and will fight to the bitter end, so scant few Digimon are willing to take on Garurumon X Antibody. As it boosts the greatest qualities of a combat species Digimon, its tamer must have suitable qualifications as well. So here we have, well, it's art book design. Things about the design. They're going very much into a yokai aesthetic with Garurumon X Antibody. We're dealing with artwork issues because this looks just like Silver Fur. I know the previous design had like small bits of stripes on them. It's really hard to tell with here. I think there are some stripes. I like that they went with the tail. It's probably a bit too long. The spikes, very edgy. Is Garurumon a wolf or a fox? I believe they're going on with a wolf because Garuru... for those who don't know, I believe it means werewolves in either French or Cajun French, or one of those Latins is loup-garou. And Garuru, I think that's where they're going with it. Were-Garurumon, similar concept. If you play Werewolf the Apocalypse, the werewolf society is called the Garu. So I think they're trying to say that Garurumon is a wolf. And they really do lean into that aesthetic with this, but the tail complicates things. I think the tail should be shorter. I'm glad that it's fluffy, but I don't know if it's... I think it may be too fluffy. The spikes are an interesting touch, but I think a bit excessive. They do fit with the ears, and I think it would have worked better if these spikes were more like the ears on its head to create more of, biological spikes rather than death metal spikes. The gauntlets on the legs are an interesting touch. Maybe not too much. It's actually pretty neat. But overall, as an X antibody, I still would like to see an X somewhere on the design. Maybe the head, maybe the back. But as is, it's okay. We may be dealing with an artwork issue. So what I like about it, I like that the tail is fluffy this time around. I like that they went with a vicious design. What I don't like, the tail is too long. The spikes are metallic. If I were to change it, I would make that tail shorter, and I would make the spikes more like the ears, more of an organic spike. And now I lost... Oh, there it is. So... an okay design, but not really my cup of tea. We're going to go 30 seconds. But it's an okay design. I think we're dealing with an artwork issue. Hold on, how do I fix this? Okay, that did do anything. I'll figure that out later. So I'm still messing around with OBS. So we're going to go back. If my microphone would work. Okay. Like I said, this might be a short stream just due to time and technical issues. We're going next into Gatomon, also called Tailmon, depending on dub. A Digimon brimming with curiosity that loves to pull pranks. Gatomon may be small, but it's still a rare... Sorry. Let's retry that. A Digimon brimming with curiosity that loves to pull pranks. Gatomon may be small, but it's still a rare sacred species Digimon whose appearance belies its true power. It wears its holy ring on its tail, proving that it is a sacred species Digimon, although it lose some of its power if it ever loses this ring. O2. Besides the holy ring, Gatomon also wears gloves with long, sharp claws copied from the data of Saber Leomon to protect itself. Gatomon's special moves include Lightning Paw, by which it uses its claws to attack, and Cat's Eye, which allows it to manipulate its opponents with a piercing glare. Those who meet its glaze will end up attacking themselves. So we have Gatomon, one of the most confusing Digimon, and as Renamon5658 says, yay, my second favorite Digimon. Personally, I like Black Gatomon, but that's just me. Gatomon is one of the older designs of Digimon. You can easily see that with the ear tufts and on the tail tufts. That's very indicative of early style Digimon. I've actually 3D printed a small Gatomon and painted one up to give to a family member as a Christmas gift. Maybe I'll show pictures of her one day. But Gatomon has been around from Digimon for a long time. She's oftentimes confused for a rookie, and that's due to the size of the Digimon. However, Gatomon is a champion. Her rookie form is platform. I use her because cats. Although, depending on the Digivice, Gatomon is sometimes listed as a rookie if she doesn't have the tail ring. And as everyone knows, in O2, the tail ring disappears in like the first episode. As for design aspects, we have a very simple white kitty cat. Very simplistic, easy to see. It reads cat is what I'm saying. We've got giant saber Leomon claws, which to the uninitiated just kind of looks, oh, she's wearing Wolverine claw hands, which I think is a good little mix of she's wearing gloves and it's claws. It's an interesting concept. So I don't really have anything against this. It does fit Digimon. We have a little bits of purple, which, as we know, with Angelwomon kind of reappears. And we have the tail ring, which I've never been a big fan of, but that's just me. So things about the design I like. It's a cat. It's very easy to read. You have some seriousness with the design, but then some oddities like the gloves, which does help. About the only thing I don't like about the design is probably the tail ring. And that's probably it. And I also don't like the little feather things at the end. While I don't like the tail ring, I know why it's there. Realistically, about the only thing I would change is the omission of the tail thing. But other than that, Gatomon gets the perfect. She is a perfect design, in my opinion. Very good Digimon, very well thought out, very well designed. My only complaint is I just kind of wish there were some rookie cat Digimon, because the second you put up a cat Digimon, it's always a champion. Black Gatomon, Meikumon, Black Gatomon Uber, it's always a champion. There's almost no rookie cat Digimon, and that saddens me. But other than that, yeah, great design. So like I said, things I like. Looks like a cat with some seriousness, but then some cartoony aspects. I don't like the tail ring and the tail feathers stuff, but I understand why the ring is there. If I were to change it, I would just omit these purple leaves, the feathers. But other than that, it's a perfect design. It's a cute little kitty cat. I like Gatomon. I like cats. I like Gatomon. I like Black Gatomon. I like Meikumon. I like cats. Used to have a cat. I miss that cat. I miss those cats. Actually, I had a cat in the garage that got stuck in there. We cared for it and then it found its way out. I miss that cat. Cat, 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 cat. But yeah, enough about cats. Which, yes, I saw the musical Cats. I actually quite liked it. But that's beside the point. Now we got to Gatomon X Antibody. A Digimon... Okay, pulling back down. Gatomon X Antibody is now shorter, more curious, and more mischievous than ever. And its underlying innocence has been more pronounced. Since this transformation brought out Gatomon X Antibody's underlying personality rather than make it better suited for battle, it's speculated that the antibody removed extraneous elements from Gatomon X Antibody so it can better wield its latent holy power. The ring of the bell-shaped holy chime on Gatomon X Antibody's ear gets louder the more holy power the chime is exposed to and can drive away evil Digimon. So, here we have Gatomon X Antibody. As we can see, some major changes. Still cat-like. We've kept the gloves. The design reminds me a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog. Some of the Mobian characters. The tail no longer has the wispy things, but we've now gotten some spikes, which still fit. I'm not a big fan of dual tail motifs on cats, but that's just me. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Tails. Things about the design. So things about the design I like. It's still Gatomon. I like Gatomon. I like that the tails took my opinion, my idea, my suggestion, and removed the wispy things. Things about the design I don't like. So a few things. I think the ring across the body like a bandolier is a bit unnecessary. I know they say that Gatomon has gotten smaller, but I don't think she's gotten that small to fit in the band like a little tiny fairy. I think this is a bit much. I think I would prefer it if it was, say, in one of the ears or perhaps even on one of the tails. As for the ring on the bell, I think a bit excessive, but it's okay. I think I would prefer that more of on the neck, but again, that's just me. And I don't like the stripes. I think I would prefer them more random and haphazard, like a tiger stripe. As for what I would change with the design, make those stripes more tiger stripe-esque. And I would probably omit this ring, either make it like a collar or just a tail ring. The bell on the ear, I can kind of understand why it's kept, and so I'm not going to be too critical of that. But compared to Gatomon, I prefer the original design, not the X Antibody. So to recap, I like that it's still a cat. I dislike that the ring is this big thing, and I don't like the tail stripes. If I were to change it, I would make the ring smaller or a necklace, or put it on the tail, and I would probably make the stripes more like tiger stripes. It's an okay design, but compared to the original X Antibody, compared to the original Gatomon, I kind of prefer the original compared to the X Antibody. So 30 seconds. So I think we're going to move on to the next Digimon. She has earrings. I'm aware I'm not too big a fan of the earrings element. It's okay, but I think it's that if they were earrings, just earrings would be okay, but the fact that they also have bells makes them a bit much in my opinion. It's an okay design, it's just not my favorite X Antibody. And to be fair, I think like the only I think there was a few, I forgot which ones I liked, but this one isn't one of the better ones. Gowapamon. Okay, I'm going to have some pronunciation issues here. An android Digimon born from the fusion of data from a music player and that of a mythical Kappa creature. Gowapamon is almost always cheerfully listening to its favorite music, but it also weeps if the disc on top of its head is scratched. Uses the special move DJ Shooter to launch the disc on its head while spinning it at high speed. Or Gowapa Punch to pummel the enemy with both its elastic arms. Gowapamon can also surprise the enemy with its incredibly mysterious Gowapa Rapper dance. Okay, so it's Parappa the Rapper. Parappa the Rapper. Design-wise, looks like a stuffed animal that plays CDs. And it looks like it's trying to wrap me in Parappa the Rapper, which I've never played, but I'm aware of. Things that I liked about the design, certainly creative. I'll give it that. Things I don't... It's creative in that they took a Kappa, and they didn't just make it a Kappa, they also added elements of technology, like the CD player. That's very creative. They're replacing the water on the head with a CD. In Kappa legends say if you spill water from its head, it has to answer you any question you ask. Hence why it dislikes it if you scratch the disc on its top. As for what I dislike about the design, it says it's a cyborg, but nothing about this, other than the disc on top, reads electronic. Like, it looks like a plush doll. For those who don't know, in the 90s, there was a line of toys that you could put a cassette tape in and it would play. Teddy Ruxpin, I think, was what they were called. I could be wrong. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen any of those things. I'm sure LGR has talked about them. But this kind of reminds me of that. But as a cyborg, it doesn't really read that. I think if I were to change the design, I think I would put a disc top on here to sort of hold down the disc. The idea being that it's also a disc player. But the design, it's an okay design. I like the concept, but the execution is kind of meh. So the recap, I think it's a creative design to make a Digimon that is a Kappa with a thing on top of it. I think I like that. I like that concept. I don't like that it doesn't really feel like a cyborg. It just feels like a plush animal with a CD player. And if I were to change it, I would add a cassette thing on a disc protector thing on top to hold the disc down to really read that this is a CD player. Almost like those plush dolls. It's an okay design, but I think we can see why it doesn't appear that often. It's just meh. But overall, it's an okay design. Not really one I'm a big fan of. So, 30 seconds. You know, hearing about that it has a CD on its head, I'm tempted to talk about how back in the 90s there was a lot of CD technology and people were learning a lot of new things about it. Full motion video, very impressive, but we don't see that too much with tech. Geckomon, an amphibian Digimon that mesmerizes those around it with a cry altogether too pleasant for its strange appearance. Geckomon jams cords with 3 holes on its tongue and horn wrapped around its neck, which it uses to control its opponent's feelings. Rumor has it that a Geckomon is born when a hit song is created in composition software, making it a kind of status symbol among musicians the world over. Its special move, Symphony Crusher, destroys the enemies inside with ultra-high frequency vibrations. So we basically have Florida Man the Frog. Few things about this design. I know it's supposed to be music and it's supposed to be impressive. This just looks like Florida Man. It doesn't really feel like a status symbol. It just kind of feels like, yeah. I do like the idea of a frog that creates music, which is a common motif we see in a lot of cartoons and the like. I didn't realize that the tongue actually has trumpets coming out of it, which is interesting. Things about the design. So I like those aspects about the design. What I don't like about the design, I think the teeth are a bit excessive. And the way how the eyes are, making it look like it's going into a Waffle House at 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay. When I'm reading, making it kind of a status symbol, this doesn't read status symbol. This reads, you need to go to rehab. Say that what you will about that, but I think it's probably the artwork. I think that's the issue we're going with. That's something I have to remind myself with a lot of these designs. We're dealing with artwork, and that can have a different depiction towards them. As a champion, I'll also say this feels more like a rookie. This doesn't feel like a champion, in my opinion. It feels like this is the rookie for someone based on the fact that it's small and the horn is small. I think if I were to change this design, I would omit the teeth because it feels too much like a lizard rather than a frog. And I would make the horn on its back a bit bigger to really add that size to really make it go, this is a champion, not a rookie. Because as is, this feels a little too much like a rookie. I'm also a bit tempted on the tongue thing because these remind me too much of like suckers on a tentacle. But it's supposed to be horns. Overall, this design is... I can see why this tends to be a villain or a neutral Digimon. It's an okay design, but... yeah, no. We're going to go towards 30 seconds. I think we're going to move on to the next Digimon. Geo Greymon. And I think we're probably going to end on Geo Greymon. A unique Digimon thought to be a subspecies of Greymon, Geo Greymon sports a deadlier frame than ever, of course, with the shell on its head as well as its entire body having developed into living weapons. Okay. It uses its special move Mega Flame to shoot searing flames from its mouth, incinerating all. Alternatively, it can charge up Mega Flame in its mouth to maximize its destructive power, unleashing the explosive Mega Burst instead. Finally, it can charge forward and crush foes with its giant horn by using Horn Impulse, another powerful attack. Okay, by saying that it's a stronger Greymon, I'm already feeling that this is someone's OC. Did Takato make this? Jokes aside, Geo Greymon was made for Digimon Data Squad as Agumon, as Mats. Not I've never watched Data Squad, so my name's a bit with this, but this was Agumon's evolution. As for the design, certainly looks more impressive than Greymon. They've added in red elements to the helmet, to the skull, the shell. They've added more spikes. It certainly looks more impressive as a Digimon. As for what I don't like about the design, it feels like someone's OC, that they looked at Greymon and said, I want to be stronger. Which is fine. It does look stronger. But I think... But knowing that we already have Greymon, this seems a bit excessive. You know, did we really need to make another Greymon? It's not to the same extent as Agumon, where you have a lot of Agumons, but we already had Greymon. Did we need another OC Greymon? I think if I were to change this design, I would omit the shoulder spikes and probably add some more definition to the core chest area to really show that this is a musculared up monster. It's already there, so realistically there's not much comment I can say about that. But I do think you need to emphasize more of the strength. We've got it in the legs and the arms, but I don't think we have it in the core. Overall, okay design, but I'm not giving it the perfect simply because it's pretty much a retread of Greymon. And I'm not a big fan of retreads and recolors. So we're going to give it 30 seconds. Oh, before I do that, like I said, things I like. I like that it looks more ferocious than Greymon. I would omit the spikes, and I don't like that it's a retread. Remove the spikes, make it more muscular. But otherwise, it's a retread. And I'm not a big fan of that. So, 30 seconds. And with that, we're done. This was a bit of a shorter stream, but we're getting back into things. We've got a lot of Digimon to go through. Hopefully, we can get to there are a lot of Digimon with G in them. Where is Cubimon? Hopefully, within the next 2 sessions, we can get to Kyubimon. Because I do like Kyubimon. It's a nice Digimon. So, Digimon confuses me at times. So, talk about schedule. Some quick things. I don't plan on streaming for the rest of the month. If only because it's holidays. As for schedule, I'm looking to stream possibly on the 5th or the 6th, depending on how things go. We're looking for the 5th, but we'll see how things pan out. As for my review, I'm going to work a little bit on it today and keep working on it when I can. I was hoping to get the Battletech review out before year's end. I will still shoot for that, but don't be surprised if it goes in early next month. If I don't stream the 5th, that's because the Battletech review will be coming out. We are slowly moving through this, and I'm moving slower than I should. As for technical, we're going to work on this. I'm going to figure out how to make this system work because it's new, and I really want to start using it over the Blue Snowball. But it is what it is. With that, I think we're going to end stream. Like I said, Beat Break is coming out soon with an English dub, and we do have the Ghost Game dub out. Although you'll need to be in the BBC, watching on BBC. Take that as you will. DigiDestiny Season 2 is also starting next month, so we as Digimon fans are eating well. So with that, I'll see you all next time here on the Digimon Reference Manual. And bye. Oh, I keep forgetting that YouTube does that. Anyway, bye.